Welcome everybody to the finale for Pokémon SoulSilver, where last time we talked about the Pokewalker and the very obscure thing of the crown leaves. Very obscure, needless to say. And this time, we are talking about every last little bit of things that just didn't fit anywhere else and saying our goodbyes to this game, which feels really bittersweet. I'm gonna miss this a lot, but first things first. Talking more about trivial things, there's a lot of trivia with this game that I didn't really get to mention. For one, I'll go into the PC later. I want to talk about the Arceus event, because I did mention it during last episode a little bit, but another thing trivia-wise with the Arceus, specifically the Toys R Us Arceus, it was the first one that could have the unlearnable moves of Roar of Time, Spatial Rend, and Shadow Force, which I found kind of interesting. I didn't even know it was the only one that could learn that, but here we are. As for more other things, I mentioned this at the very beginning of the LP, but Heart Gold and SoulSilver are the first games in the series that shows what natures influence what stats. For example, since Felix is timid, her attack is lower than her speed, and it showed in blue and red respectively. It's the first game in the series to do that. As for other things, I want to talk more about Lyra. Well, kinda. Kinda with Lyra. Your friend at the beginning has two official names. If you chose to be the male main character, Lyra would be the unchosen girl. But for the reverse, Ethan would be your male character in this case. Along with that, your rival's official name is always Silver. Now talking more about locations, I guess? We're kind of going all over the place, just bear with me. More talking about Bell Tower. In the original games, it was originally called, Tin Tower in Gold and Silver. And talking more about name stuff, Heart Gold and SoulSilver was named because of the developers wanting to add a theme of shared meaningful experiences with Pokemon, hence the heart and soul of Gold and Silver. Now, one of the things I want to check out personally is over in the Ruins of Alph. So apparently in the Ruins of Alph, I don't know if this is true or not, but I want to experience this. If we set this to the middle, I guess, or maybe the top? No? No, that's doing that. Maybe I have to be actually in the Ruins of Alph, like in the actual underside place. I do want to see if this is true, because I found... Cameraman. We'll get your stuff later. Okay. Oh. Oh, crap. This is creepy beyond hell. I'm kind of hoping it pops up this is so weird. So, this is an obscure fact too, where it plays this theme if played in the middle of the radio. Along with that, apparently you can also hear sounds of a distorted Ho-Oh cry and the Azure flute melody. I'm kind of hoping this pops up, because this is really cool, actually. I mean, I'm not going to waste your day with this, but it's something to mess around with, and the only thing this does is apparently it raises the chance of finding unknowns that have not been caught yet. So if you're looking for all the unknown types, there you go. I'm going to get out of here, because this is creepy beyond hell. So that's the Ruins of Alph pretty much settled. Now I want to go and talk about something kind of obscure as well, which is all the way back in Cianwood. Back in Cianwood City, there was a Pokemon that we got a long time ago that we never came back to see about the person of. Is it you? No, that's not you. Yes, I saw the. I've been there. I've already got the mythical creature. Okay, which house was it? Was it up here? That is not the cameraman. Is it you? Is it this house? No. But I didn't know you had different dialogue. Sorry, Claire. Why did she call me? Alright, well, I guess I'm not talking to Claire. Which house was it? Or what? Wait, was it in the Pokemon Center? It's either in the Pokemon Center or in this house. Ah, it's you. Hi, how's my Pokemon? I think I'm safe now, so may I have it back? If you say no to this guy... Oh, no. That's the same as being robbed. I think, what happens if I say yes? Oh. I don't have it on me, buddy. Yeah, so the cool thing with that is, if you actually had its happiness stat raised, he will see that you actually raised it better than he could, and he just lets you keep it. Otherwise, he accuses you of stealing the Pokemon from him if you don't return it to him, which is kind of sad. So, talking more about things, the Bell Tower, Sprout Tower, and Burn Tower are weirdly classified as caves. So yes, you can dig through them to escape like escape ropes if you so wished. I mean, they're already decrepit towers as it is, so I guess digging through them is not going to help any matters. As for missing content, weirdly enough, Route 23 is completely absent in Heart Gold and Soul Silver. It just straight up does not exist, unlike the original games. I'm guessing that it was just a limitation of memory, or it just didn't matter for its existence, so they just removed it. But it is strange that Route 23 doesn't exist in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, but it exists in Gold, Silver, and Crystal in some capacity. Talking more about other characters, Pokemon Crystal's female character, Chris, was made absent by accident, which is kind of a shame. According to Takao Uno, who is one of the people who worked on the game, he had begun designing the characters without looking at Sugimori's original work. If you don't know, Sugimori was like the original designer of the Pokemon. He designed the first batch of Pokemon, and along with other characters. Hey, it got evening more. When Uno saw Chris later, however, he decided to just make Lyra a new lead female character to replace Chris, which is kind of unfortunate, because I actually kind of liked Chris's design, but Lyra is pretty cool too. As for the last little bit of things that are completely random, this is probably better shown in Goldenrod. As much as I hate this place, the Game Corner has trivia that I never mentioned. If Heart Gold and Soul Silver are playing on a counterfeit cartridge, attempting to play Voltorb Flip at all will crash the game. It's one of the very few bits of copyright protection that this game has, and that's one of them apparently, which is kind of funny. I mean, you're not losing anything if you try to... You're not losing anything from Voltorb Flip, but it's just funny that that's the case. And the last bit of trivia is when these games were announced, the English versions were first announced before the Japanese version, which was the first time in the series' history that ever happened. It was actually kind of cool. That's all the trivial things that I could really dig up, at least anything that was interesting. Now for bits of just randomness for the end of the LP. I did not forget about our Slugma. Our Slugma's been here since the very beginning. 47 levels! Oh, no, I don't want you to raise another. I want him back. Gary... Oh, you are also named... Oh, that's kind of awkward. I forgot that Articuno was named Gary. Whatever. Wait, so how high is this Slugma now? Oh, you're level 4. Oh, yeah, because you were level 1. Well, you have really good moves, actually. Man, the daycare lady actually gave you some good moves. Wow. Okay. Well, for the entirety of the LP, you gained 47 levels. That's really hilarious to me. Anyways, I guess I can go to another spot just to show things more. We'll go back to Cherry Grove, because why not? For a side thing as well, I do want to talk about the sources that I used when making this project, and a lot of the people who helped. Well, I'll talk more about the people who helped, because most of them are my party members, but for official sources that I used, a lot of the information and building and what have you, every note-taken thing basically came from SciPoke.com, Bulbapedia, Cerebi, and Pokemon Database. All of those sites were used in the creation of this project, and they helped immensely with getting factual information, so those are a lot of my sources that I use throughout the project. Now for the last little bit of things. I know I keep saying that, but I'm really just trying to delay it, man. I'm gonna be sad when this game's gone, but... anyways. So, Slugma, you can now rest. You've been training all this time. And I did get all of the nicknames that were left over for the Pokemon that were missing them. So, I think it's more than fair to go from the start and see all the Pokemon that joined us on this journey. So, start with Rocky. This was a traded Onix that we showed off at the very beginning when we first made it to Cherry Grove. He didn't get any use besides a bio earlier on than usual, but hey, he was part of the journey in some capacity. Specs, the Hoot that flew us around everywhere before we ever got Nexus. You were very helpful and also kind of random, considering I just needed a flyer and it was at nighttime when I caught you, so thank you for taking me around. I don't know how... I guess your talons would have carried me around. I keep thinking I'm like riding on your head, but yeah, no. You probably just grabbed me and took me places, so appreciate it, Specs. Annoyance, the Wobbuffets, who I caught off screen after killing one of my Pokemon and then taking a ton of my Dusk Balls. This helped with getting Raikou and Entei, and yeah, actually it was just those two, but without Annoyance, Raikou and Entei were going to be a lot worse to catch, so I guess even though your namesake is your namesake, you did help out in a very good capacity. Thank you, Annoyance. Nessie, the shiny Gyarados that we got over in Lake of Rage during the main story events. And I like your name a lot. Nessie's great. We didn't really... Well, actually, no. We used you for Whirlpool and Waterfall occasionally, so you were a good HM slave. You were also there for when we fought Lugia, so I guess you were more there than I realized. Thank you, Nessie. Telperion, I think that's how you say the name, because you're named after something from Lord of the Rings, I believe. I think one of the trees. You were the random Sudowoodo that we sprayed water on and pissed you off and that we caught. So, you literally didn't have a purpose on my team whatsoever, and I never used you outside of the fight besides just grabbing a static encounter, but you were cool nonetheless, and you have a cool name. I seriously do really like that name a lot. Thank you to the person who chose that name for him, because it's actually really nice. Kit Kat the Eevee, who the person who wanted me to nickname this was to nickname it after my favorite candy bar, and I'm not sponsored by Kit Kats, but damn it, they're good. So, didn't get to use the Eevee whatsoever, but hey, Kit Kat the Eevee is a pretty cool name for it. Thank you, Eevee, for existing. Shucky the Shuckle, who was just given to us by a guy in Sandwood and that we effectively stole from him at the end of the game. You were cool for a bio and got to show they have ridiculous defenses. That's about it. Thank you, Shucky. Roxanne, the random Geodude we got for, I believe it was from the Safari Zone, actually. Yeah, I don't really know why I have... Oh, okay, it does say the Safari Zone. It was to get past the Safari Zone checkpoints through Boba. So, you were helpful in that fact, and I guess it eventually led us to getting our Larvitar. So, thank you, Roxanne. Rock Lee, the random Tyrogue that we got in Mount Mortar a long time ago, after fighting the Karate King there. And it was named after, well, Rock Lee from Naruto, but hey, that wasn't my name, that was a name suggested by you guys, and it was very fitting, so... Never got to use you, buddy, but you have a good name. I really need to watch that anime fully. I've only seen the very beginning of it, but I digress. Clamps, the random pincer that we caught in National Park that we should have won with, damn it, but yeah, no, we lost against the, not the Safari Zone, did I say Safari Zone? The bug catching contest at the very beginning of the game, so you were cool, you have a unique ball icon at least, and yeah, you were just shown that you could be caught there, so thank you, Clamps. Scramble Jr., the random Togepi that evolved, that hatched from an egg when we carried it around after getting our first gym badge. And you surprisingly tricked out the Lugia into catching it, or at the very least, The Lugia was too scared to even touch you. You were too powerful beyond comprehension. That's probably why they had to hide the shiny stone for post game. But, yeah, you were there for a very long time. You were our Flash user and Rock Smash occasionally. Thank you, Scramble Jr. You were one of the beginning ones. Gardine, the Lugia that we caught at Whirl Islands and is the box legendary. You are OP as hell, even though I got an okay nature on you. You killed a lot of my Pokemon and you took only one reset to get, but nevertheless, you were good. Plus, you're named after a heavy wind skill in Persona, so I like you even more as a result. Sanic, the Sandshrew that we caught in the Safari Zone for getting yet another checkpoint done with Boba. And is a very fitting name, and I joked about that name being named, and then one of you guys said, yeah, name it Sanic because it's funny. So, I gotta oblige you guys, and myself, I guess, at that point. Agidine, the Entei that took forever to catch when we were going after the roamers. I am so glad we had annoyance for you. At least you were the first one that we caught between you and Raikou, but yeah, you took me quite a while and killed my killed annoyance very many times. Zeodine, you gave me a lot of grief when trying to catch you, for you were the second roamer we were trying to catch, and you took freaking forever and made my run time on that video take 20 years. I mean, I still like you, and I still prefer Raikou, but God, you took forever to get. You took forever to get, man. Plague, the Rattata that we had at the very beginning, who was our Cut and Rock Smash user, and was one of the first chosen nicknames from you guys in the comments. And Plague's very fitting, because, you know, Black Plague and rats, and I mean, I don't think this thing's gonna try to disease me, but, you know, who knows. Well, for how I used it, it probably would. Vlad, the Electabuzz, who is also ear-piercingly loud. A random capture on Route 10 because I wanted to oblige a comment that one of you guys had for a nickname, and that was already taken. So, along with a really cool idea of the person using an Electabuzz throughout each major game and naming it, I think they named it Paul or whatever, but to oblige that person, I caught an Electabuzz and named it Vlad. Plus, it was one of the other random captures that we had in Kanto that wasn't a legendary, so I guess it works in that factor too. Koji, the random Snorlax that we caught and was named after the guy who's based off of Snorlax. I don't know if that's a compliment or not, but you were a thing. You gave us leftovers, basically, which is an amazing item that I ended up not using because I kept forgetting I had it. But nevertheless, thank you, Snorlax, for existing. Aquadine, the Suicune that we caught in Kanto. You were pretty easy to catch, actually. You didn't give me that many issues. Granted, your moveset sucks, but hey, at least you're named after a heavy skill in Persona 2, which is very unknown. Kaiba, the Latios that we caught, who was roaming around Kanto and was the only Pokemon that we used a Master Ball on. Along with having a ridiculous nature on it. I kind of wish I got to use you for Battle Frontier stuff, but I'm just not interested in Battle Frontier. And plus, you're named after a character in Yu-Gi-Oh!, which I still have yet to see the actual anime because I've only ever seen Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged, which is still a hilarious fact. Seraphina, the Ho-Oh that we got at the Bell Tower, and the other box legendary that we had to wait until post-game to get. You were unceremoniously caught through a quick ball on the first turn on a new run. Yeah, I mean, you murdered the rest of my Pokemon relentlessly, but yeah, that was kind of anticlimactic for that fight, huh? Gary, the first of 3 Garys. Yes, there's a third Gary now. AKA Fullbuster, because there was 2 names right around the same time for this thing. It also didn't give us any problem. Articuno didn't give us really any problems. We found you at the bottom of Seafoam Islands. You were just pretty chill with us. Pika-Bird, the Zapdos that I love the background of its nickname for, because if I remember correctly, the story with its name was one of you guys had shown, I guess one of you guys were playing through the game and showed the Zapdos to their fiancé, and to which the fiancé said, it's Pika-Bird. So I refuse to call Zapdos anything else but Pika-Bird as a result. You are also very annoying to catch. You took me forever. KFC Phoenix, the first of the few Pokemon that we still had to name. And it was a combination name because, again, kind of like what happened with Gary/Fullbuster, Moltres had 2 names picked for it around the same time, and I liked both of them. One of them was Phoenix, which was pretty on the nose, and KFC for, well, it's a fire chicken bird. Plus, it's part of the Sassy trio, so KFC had to be part of its name. So I think KFC Phoenix works pretty well. Sunray, another nickname that hasn't been seen before. This was the Mewtwo that we caught in Cerulean Cave, and, well, I'm not going to say the full name of the person that it's named after because, let's just say it's not exactly kid-friendly. The only thing I will say is it is named after a person who has a very similar physique that one of you guys commented, and I made the mistake of looking it up, and man, just got very surprised, needless to say. So I'm not giving the real name to that because I don't know what that person does. But I just at least want to acknowledge that it was funny. So, Sunray is your name. Crush, the squirrel that I nicknamed myself because it was a not self-reference. That was not me who did that LP. A reference to Nutch's LP of Pokemon Leaf Green. I mistakenly called it Fire Red, so I apologize for that. He's a good YouTube friend who started Pokemon Fire Red around the same time I started doing SoulSilver, and with how ironic everything was, he was doing Gen 1, I was doing Gen 2, and we did a Pokemon game around the same time. It just made sense to get a Squirtle, which was his starter in Leaf Green, and name it Crush. So, even though you're not the same one, and you have a really bad nature actually, holy crap, your nature sucks. You may not be the same one, but hey, at least Crush exists in a different universe. Spruce, the Trico that has now been nicknamed. And I thought it was a really good name for one, spruce trees. Obvious enough, it's a grass type, it's a Trico. Less thing though, I for some reason read it at first as Bruce, so now I can't think, now I think of Bruce the spruce tree every time I see this Trico, so I guess that's kind of 2 names in one, but Spruce is a pretty good name, and I do thank that person in the comments who suggested that. Terra, another new nickname, the Groudon that we caught in the Embedded Tower, who has a really bad nature as well. You took a while to catch, especially since you have the move of Rest, which I hate that they keep giving legendaries healing moves. Stop doing it, man. Kyogre, the Kyogre that we quote-unquote traded in. I definitely didn't use action replay codes. This allowed us to go and get Rayquaza, and for that purpose, that's what it was used for. Nothing else. Shenron, another new nickname. Obviously named after the dragon in Dragon Ball, come on. And it was actually one of your guys' suggestions on that, so thank you. It was the Rayquaza that we caught, and that didn't take awful long to grab, so yeah, nothing but good to say with Rayquaza. Also, to piss you anime fans off, I've never seen Dragon Ball. That's 1 box done. Yeah, that was just 1 box. Thankfully, there's not much left. Silver Surfer, the Latios, and it's a new nickname for it. This Latios was the first of the mystery events we took care of, and, well, it netted us the other Lati. As for the person's reasoning for Silver Surfer, they always thought that Latios, at least when it's flying, kind of looked like the surfboard, which now I can't really unsee it. Especially with its wings, it kind of looks like the Silver Surfer's board if it was red. And if I think right, I don't keep up with Marvel stuff, but I think they're making a new Silver Surfer who's now a chick, so hey, it works out in that case, because Latios is female. So thank you to that person for nicknaming this. The Celebi, that is a Fate Encounter Celebi. This is the Nintendo World one. This is the Celebi that took us back in time to go and fight Giovanni of the past future thing, kinda. It's the reason that Giovanni never came back to Goldenrod to, well, wreak havoc once again as a leader of Team Rocket. Pichu, Spiky Deer Pichu. This is the Pichu that we got in Ilex Forest after taking its brother, the Shiny Pichu, the GameStop event one. over to its friend. So, while you are stuck to this game permanently for the rest of your life, just know that you will be stuck on a good game for the rest of your life. Gary the Slugma, who has been stuck in the Pokemon daycare this entire time. Oh, and its poor thing is it likes to run. Oh, and I've had you in that prison for the entire game. I feel bad. Yeah, this is the second Gary that we've named. It's kind of weird that we have multiple Garys, but here we are. I guess Gary's that popular of a name when it comes to Pokemon. Gary the Giratina! So, for context, Articuno was a Gary who is just a nice bird. Slugma, of all things. And the spawn of Satan himself, Gary. That one of you guys wanted a nickname as well. And also they let me know that Gary loves me. And I love Gary back. This is also the Giratina that we got in Sinjo Ruins thanks to the event Arceus that took us there. So, pretty cool. Especially since they came with your orb. And that's it of all the side characters throughout this entire LP. Yeah, that's everybody. So, to be more ceremonious, and screw you, Perry. Patty the no. More ceremoniously, I think it's warranted to take one last stroll through Route 29 and walk back home. I like doing this at the end of LPs. You're here. Oh, it is Tuesday, huh? Well, okay. It's pretty ceremonious to go back to the first route you came on, just to walk back home after doing so much throughout the game. With that said and done, there's actually one more thing. Please tell me I can do this here. What? The person who took the professor's Pokemon has come back to return it. That's the last thing I expected. Guess what Professor M said to him? It seems that your Pokemon already likes you so much. For a Pokemon, the best happiness is to be with somebody it loves. I think it should stay with you. Isn't it moving? It made me cry. I didn't know that dialogue existed. Crap. Okay, there's one more thing I forgot. Well, that ruined the entire ceremonious. Actually, no, I can do it here. I can do it at home. The cameraman's right there. Yeah, no, we have to do it. We have to do one last Fuzzy Pickles. Get ready. Say, Fuzzy Pickles. I'm gonna miss you, man. This is the only game you show up in. Back home once again. To highlight the journey throughout the journey. I can't do it. Okay, fine. I'm going to Cherry Grove. That was really sad. I'll just skip over back to New Barktown in a second, but we can check the photo album. And this is from the start of the game to the end. So. Oh, wow. This is the earliest we've taken a photo? Seriously? I guess so, huh? Or, no, that makes no sense. When was... Okay, where does it start? Yeah, because that's when we... Okay, this... Where does this start? 11/18... Is that really the earliest? Oh, I know why. I'm getting confused because of the Team Rocket event. No, this is just the little event underneath Goldenrod City where you could just have the camera shoot with the Team Rocket logo on you. That. I forgot about that. All right, I'm ruining things a lot today. Over in Route 35 shortly after. And man, we already had a bunch of the team at this point. Like, it'd be a little bit till we get Nexus and, was it Dave, but still. That's over at the Pokeathlon Dome. I remember making that video. Over by Route 39, where we helped out the Moo Moo milk stuff. We helped out the milk tank. Over in Cianwood, when we just first made it there, in search of medicine for Amphi. Over in Cherry Grove, I don't remember what we were doing in Cherry Grove. I think we were backtracking for stuff. And hey, Warp is evolved at this point. This was Ruins of Alph. I believe we were just exploring more things there. Back in Blackthorn. I think that's the first time we got to Blackthorn. Hey, Dave's there finally. Over in Route 45 shortly after, I believe, just beating the gym there at Blackthorn. Oh, we had Dragonair at this point, too, through Nexus. Oh, this is Kanto, actually. So, yeah, this is when we made it to Saffron after just getting off of the SS Aqua. I had to remember the name of it. Over in Celadon, just clearing house throughout Kanto. Still didn't have evolutions at that point for Nexus and Dave. That's Celadon's department store. Not much to say there. I guess we did run into Crasher Wake. We went over to Cerulean City in search of Misty. That's over in Route 22, where we just checked that out for a random reason. Back in... Actually, Route 21. Oh, this is Route 21. Weird. And hey, there's the full gang fully evolved over in Necrotique City. That was right before we went to go and take on Ho-Oh. That's... Oh god, that's right before we went after Moltres and chased after Red. And I believe that's the final picture. The one we just took today. Or no, that is not the final picture. Never mind, there's still more. Oh, we just ended up having 2 pictures at the house. Well, that's kind of funny. That's our final picture. Where we started and where we ended. Now I'm going to actually end there by going back to... going back home. Back home. There's one last thing I want to do before I start saying goodbye. And that is saying goodbye to our amazing team. For they did everything for us. They're what made us champions. And champions twice over. Felix. Named after the first Pokemon I ever named, at least I remember. Back when I first played Pokemon Platinum for the very first time. You have destroyed many teams. You are an amazing fire type. You have destroyed everything in your path. Even Pokemon I didn't expect you to just destroy, like that Venusaur on Mount Silver. You were there since the beginning, and you've carried us ever since. Jag. Named after one of my good buddies who chose Ampharos to be part of my team. You were surprisingly good. I know Ampharos is always amazing, but you helped a lot with things. You paralyzed a lot of legendaries. You helped out a lot against the flyers and water types. You were there for a lot of it at the beginning as well. So I thank you, Jag, for being part of the journey. Warp. The random Wooper that we got from Primo because I didn't want to wait till nighttime to catch a Wooper. And is named after a very, very good friend of mine who is basically responsible for the bio pages. He is the reason why you have a stat box in the corner of the screen there for every time we had a bio. Warp is the reason for that, and without him, the quality of this LP wouldn't have been as high. So, thank you, Warp. And thank you as a Pokemon, too. You wreaked havoc on everything, despite having a bad defense stat. You were good to us. Card. Named after a buddy of mine who we did some co-op LP stuff. We did a Persona 5 LP together on his channel. He is the one who chose the Heracross, who destroyed everything. Heracross is overpowered beyond belief and just annihilated the competition. She's also the reason why we won against Red, so thank you, Card. You were there for very good things. Dave, the Tyranitar. Named after one of my best friends who chose my well, not Pupitar at the time. It was a Larvitar. And who was also very stubborn to catch at the Safari Zone, but you annihilated everything and was the trump card against Red. Without you, we probably would have had a hell of a lot worse time with Red, so thank you, Dave, for just being overpowered as per usual for Tyranitars. And finally, Nexus. the dragon, our only dragon type, but it was the Dratini that we got over in Blackthorn City, specifically Dragon's Den, which doesn't have extreme speed anymore, and I never even used Draco Meteor on you, but you're named after one of my very good friends that I met a long time ago, and yeah, you were amazing. You were amazing Dragon type, you were amazing for coverage. You did everything a Dragonite should. And with that said, thank you to every single one of you watching, commenting, everybody. Anybody who has shown any amount of support, even just with a view, thank you. The amount of support throughout this LP has been insane, and this LP itself has gained so many of you on the subscriber side of things. I would have imagined getting past even 700 subs. We're almost at 1,000, and it's this game I have to thank, and it's you guys I have to thank. Especially those who nicknamed certain Pokemon, gave me suggestions, corrected me when I was wrong about things, and told me where certain things were to cover it. I wanted to cover every single thing about this game, and without you guys, I wouldn't have been able to do that. So, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. For you guys made this game that is my favorite game of all time already that more special. It is a game I will always cherish, and this LP is just yet another reason why I will cherish this game. So, with all that said, thank you so much for joining me on this really long journey, and next time on whatever we do next, I think we'll be living through the generations. I'll just leave it at that. I will see you guys in the next one. Take care.